Today I'll introduce an Obsidian plugin, ExMemoTools. First, we can download and install it from the community plugins. Since we've already installed it, let's go directly to the settings. First, we need to configure the LLM parameters, then we can start using it. Let's look at its 4 main features. Smart editing includes using LLM to edit selected text, and continue writing based on context at the current position. Directory management, select suitable directories and migrate files. It also supports generating metadata for files and directory indexes. Index files contain lists of files and subdirectories, plus content summaries. Let's first look at the first smart editing feature, smart editing of selected text. Select some text. Then bring up smart editing through the command menu. Here are the prompts I've used before. You can also enter new prompts here, like polish. It filters out prompts containing polish, and you can continue typing. Now let's select a previously used prompt. After selection, the content and prompt will be sent to the LLM for processing. The model's response will be inserted after the current selection, without modifying the selected content. In the settings page, there are several options for smart editing. Let's first look at prompt management. You can see previously used prompts and their usage count. For example, I've used the first prompt over 200 times. They're sorted by usage count and time, with recently used ones appearing first when counts are equal. Additionally, you can change prompt priority by dragging them. In settings, you can also choose whether prompts are editable. When editable is enabled, a dialog button appears below the prompt dialog. When selecting a prompt, it won't directly call the model but allows you to edit the prompt first. Now let's look at the continuation feature. It generates content at the current cursor position. Use the command menu to continue writing. It will send the context around the cursor to the LLM as reference to generate the next sentence. Next, let's look at the directory selection feature. Select a suitable directory for the current open file. Here we have a DeepSeek-related document in the root directory. Now we want to find a more suitable location for it. Through the command menu, select Suitable Directory for Current File. Here you can choose the directory scope. When selecting all directories and confirming, you can see my vault is quite large, containing over 200 subdirectories. If we pass all directories as options to the model, it will consume a lot of tokens. Let's try again. Using the same directory feature. This is a note file, technical document, related to algorithms. So let's first narrow down the scope, letting the model find a location within this range. The model suggested 3 options, with reinforcement learning being the first. I think this fits well, clicking to migrate the file. You can see the file location has changed. Next, let's look at the metadata generation feature. In the Markdown source, metadata is a block between 3 dashes at the file beginning. This block usually contains information separate from the file content. Let's see how the generation works. Click Generate Metadata. This will also call the LLM to automatically generate tags and categories. The description here is a 1-sentence summary of the file's main content. You can configure the generation details in settings. Users might generate metadata multiple times. Each generation calls the LLM, consuming quite a few tokens. Here are 2 options provided. Force update existing items, or only update items not requiring the LLM. This helps save model usage costs. Next is content truncation. Like the DeepSeek document we saw earlier, which has over 5,000 characters. Some documents contain tens of thousands of characters, consuming many tokens. Truncation is enabled by default in settings. By default, only 1,000 tokens from the article are sent to the LLM. Truncation options include, take from beginning, take from both ends, or take the title and text below it. Below are specific item settings. For example, you can set the field name for main content and edit specific prompts. In the tags section, Existing tags from the current vault can be extracted as references. My vault has many files and tags, containing hundreds of tags. If we pass all of them as options, each request would cost 2,000 plus tokens. So we also provide an auto-simplification feature, reducing existing tags to within 30 tags. Extracted tags will be inserted into the tag field. You can also edit them manually here. Below are prompts for generating tags. The same applies to generating categories and titles. There's also an option to generate cover images, useful when publishing to WeChat official accounts. It supports using the first image in the document as the cover. If the article contains no images, you can set a default cover image here. If you don't need cover images, you can disable this option. You can also set the field name and format for date items. Finally, there are custom data fields like author and publish status that you can add as needed. Once configured, you can generate metadata for each file. Generating metadata for multiple files would be complex. So we added the ability to generate metadata and indexes for all files in a directory. For example, let's generate metadata and index for this folder containing files and subdirectories. Right-click the directory and select ExMemo Generate Directory Index. From the pop-up window, we can see this directory contains 95 files. I've generated metadata for some before. So now only 5 files need metadata generation, plus some directories needing index generation. This operation would cost 20,000 plus tokens. You can choose to skip index generation, or generate indexes without using the LLM, or spend tokens to generate and extract metadata. Let's use the more economical approach, skip LLM extraction. Let's look at the index file content. The tags here include all tags from files in the directory. This is the directory information I extracted earlier. Below are 2 more data blocks. First part is the file list, showing first-level subdirectories and files. Second part is file details, extracting descriptions from each file's metadata. All displayed in the index file. This way, even with abstract directory names, you can understand their contents. Using this feature creates more connections between files. Before using it, the file structure looked like this. Links were mainly created manually. After using it, connections look like this, with clearer document hierarchy and tighter relationships. Now let's look at the LLM usage costs. My vault has over 1,800 markdown files, plus 200 plus directories needing indexes. Processing all data cost about 23 renminbi, balance changed from 72 to 49 renminbi. Here's the cost for processing a single file. Requests to the LLM contain 1,300 tokens, responses use less than 100 tokens, responses cost slightly more. Using default truncation, we send 1,000 tokens from the article plus prompts and tag options, about 1,300 total. This call cost 0.016 renminbi, other requests also cost around 0.015 renminbi. Overall costs are within acceptable range. Let me share some usage tips. I've set up shortcuts for commonly used features. Like continuation and smart editing, no need to use menus anymore. Won't break workflow, especially for continuation, just press the shortcut without leaving the keyboard. Also added metadata generation to CMenu for quick access. CMenu is a third-party plugin providing floating menu functionality. Finally, sharing some personal experiences. Sometimes a single directory contains many documents. For example, the psychology reading directory contains over 40 files. Even with file details generated, it's hard to grasp everything at once. Here I combined index generation with smart editing. First selecting the details section. Using the prompt. These are article links and main contents. Please categorize them while keeping format and content unchanged. Then it generated the categorization below. Although this categorization doesn't perfectly match my thinking, it saved me a lot of work, and I can continue modifying based on this. When we put all books on the same table, we might see from more angles and generate more insights. Finally, let me introduce our GitHub homepage. It provides more interesting tools. And thanks to all contributors who provided code and improvement suggestions. I hope this plugin can simplify your work, inspire more creativity, and let's make it better together.